everyone to the Analyst Desk. We're going to be covering the picks and bans for the 4th game of Vitality versus Fnatic with Cadril and Treats. Vitality elected to move back to the red side after they lost that last game. All right, let's run through what we know and what we expect. We saw a ban for Rakan, so that the Xayah-Rakan duo would be broken up. We've seen that the Renekton is something that can be let through, apparently, by Fnatic. What else have been the major takeaways, Treats?
I think the biggest thing is kind of the mid-jungle, as we said in the pre-game as well. I mean, Vitality hasn't really found their footing after the first game where they really smurfed on the Diana Yasuo, and I think they need something like that again, where they just, it's like a pick-me-up game and they can just keep rolling from there.
Yeah, it seems Fnatic have answers to the dives, right, with the Xayah, with the Ezreal. I also think then the flexing the Lulu was a good idea, but on blue side, you just can't do that. You can always save last pick on red side, so they're always going to find some way to counter whatever this Lulu flex could be. Worth trying again, perhaps, and then putting up towards the top side and having a Xin Zhao jungle makes a lot of sense. But I think both these supports are so reliable for their team on engaged champions. And I think Hylissang and brought both these to play something they can go in.
On the jungle side, we talked about a lot about like Lee Sin versus Xin Zhao, maybe versus Viego, but Bwipo has showed us that he really doesn't care and he's willing to take the Olaf and make that work as well. I think that is probably throwing a wrench in the plans maybe from the side of Vitality, but we'll see what they decide to go for.
We also know what Vitality's like when it's backs against the wall, solo queue game, just send it, you know?
Yeah.
So we could see some spicy picks just come out of nowhere. Things like Evelynn, you know, Yasuo we've seen already.
Yeah.
We know that they have deep champion pools in terms of assassins. Leader in solo queues been playing a lot of Lee Sin, a lot of Yone, Irelia, Zed. So there's a world where Vitality just say screw it and let's just go for it.
Yeah, maybe they just go for Evelynn, Zed or something mid jungle and just go full all in. But I think the draft is going to be pretty similar on the first 3. It might be a bit swapped up in the 4-5, but I think Viego's still going to be banned and it will be like a Lee Sin first pick perhaps.
I think the interesting thing here is now is Vitality's not blue side, they don't have to ban away Rakan. Do they ban it on 3 on red side, do you think? And if they don't, do you think Fnatic's going to pick it up?
I think maybe Vitality doesn't ban the Xayah or Rakan and they pick 1-on-1-2 themselves. I would like to see that, but I think also Upset and Hylissang are fine playing into it, so yeah, that will be an interesting dynamic.
We got a run back, I think, here from game 1.
There
it is, taking away Rakan, so the Rakan is actually the priority. And they're going to take that themselves, but that just gives a free counter pick to Hylissang for an engaged support. He can choose Leona, he can choose Alistar, he can choose Nautilus. So picking bot lane here, you could just go 4-5, couldn't you? There's a lot of engaged supports that could do well into Rakan, and you could just go for top side. A lot of options though. The
classic Kai'Sa hover here from Bwipo. Yeah, I think honestly Fnatic is fine saving their bot lane for 4-5 here. I would, okay, they go for the Aphelios instead, so they go for a bit more late game front to back.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And as we say that we want both supports on engage, we get Hylissang on the non-engaged champ now, the Morgana. Now, obviously this lane is very hard for Rakan though.
Yeah, Rakan is a big struggle in this lane. I think the Aphelios Morgana side, no matter what, the AD carry is going to win. So maybe Vitality just says screw it and goes for a super scaling, like Ziggs or Ezreal or something like this. Maybe they go for the Diana instead and just lock Selfmade.
AP jungle makes sense, right? You have an AD solo laner. I think leader going to 4-5 screams to me that we're going to get an assassin in mid. I think Lucian is something that maybe Fnatic want to look to take away. AD with an AP jungler is just a classic. And I think that Fnatic already have a winning bot lane. This Lee Sin could be a flex, but definitely going towards Bwipo. So Fnatic looking at both their solo laners, so Vitality's banning off mids. And Fnatic doing the same, taking away Yasuo. We'll see if it's a Lucian ban, because there's also still Zed available.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting a Lucian ban from Fnatic here, because I think that's Leader's second most comfortable champ. I'm surprised that they went for the Morgana. I don't really like it. As we said, the engaged supports...
Like it?
No, the engaged supports have been so strong the entire series, and I think it doesn't really play into Fnatic's strengths.
And that's the way the game works, right? When the game's really fast-paced, you want a champ that can just keep going in. When you play Morgana, you want a controlled game. You want to make sure you win lane, push in waves, stack waves. You know, you want to play more clean and clinical, right?
Yeah, you want to have, especially on the Dragon and the Herald, you want to have the first setup and make sure that they can't walk in. And I think the fights are not really playing out that way, where it's like clean and controlled. It's more like someone just flashes in and the fight starts, so yeah.
So now Crownshot can pick up his AD carry. Ziggs is open, Xayah is open, Ashe could be a good pick as well. There it is, Ashe does well into Morgana lanes to just contest the push, right? And now you just save counter pick for mid.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think they just want a solid laning AD carry that has decent scaling as well and not like a lot of threat on her, so Ashe is definitely a fine pickup here.
Yeah, because I think Ashe just struggles into champs that dive onto her. You pick a Morgana lane, she can't really get dove onto. The only thing that's threatening her right now is a Lee Sin, so now Fnatic have a lot of options. We haven't seen a Twisted Fate picked up once this series, but the champion itself was very prevalent in Europe especially. Nisqy no stranger to TF either.
This would be a pretty good TF game, I think, actually. They do lack a bit of AP damage. Mundo makes up for it, and so does Morgana a bit. But I think they just lock in the Sylas.
Really good ultimates to take, though. Diana, Ashe, Rakan. And now
what Leader will play.
Leader has to counter mid.
Is it the Zed?
Is it the Zed? Is it the Yone?
Yone would not be that bad too.
I think an AD champion would fit into the comp best, because I think double AP mid jungle into Sylas would struggle.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh?
You're calling it, I think?
We could get Renekton. We could get Leader's Renekton here, and Szygenda's Jayce.
Yep, it
Now,
looks like it.
I don't think Leader's much of a Jayce player, so I'm thinking that's a Renekton mid now into the Sylas. It's a winning lane. Jayce into Mundo is a counter pick, so now you counter pick both lanes. So now you have a very, very strong top side for Vitality, which is very explosive and needs to be played around. Somewhat of a safe bot, which is almost like a wave clear and give them up for the early game. And I think the Fnatic want to make sure that the Aphelios Morgana can push, and they make sure top side is neutral, or at least neutralized to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I think Fnatic, if they get one kill on their Renekton, they can really swing in Nisqy and Bwipo's favor. So I think Bwipo's going to look for some early placed mid, but if they don't work out, I think Nisqy is really fine just stalling this game and scaling up into the late game.
Yeah, completely agree. Vitality's comp, lots of 1-3-1, really good team fight as well, facilitated by the bot lane. Fnatic on the other side, you just got really good team fights. Side lanes will struggle if they don't get ahead. I think you're completely right. Playing through mid is what they need to do. For Vitality, playing through mid to top, and for Fnatic, playing through mid to bot.
Yep.
Yeah, match point Vitality is up against, and they have invested in Szygenda before. It seems like this will be the strat. Will it be enough?
I mean, honestly, I think Fnatic's going to take this one.
Okay, there it is. We predicted 3-1. Match point.
Yeah, you would be correct.
to it.
You would be correct for the first time, but as you say, I think Vitality always has something left in the tank. When they are with their backs against the wall, they know how to play the game, and they know how to play with all the brakes off and run over Fnatic. But will it be the chance here? It looks like Fnatic is in the right headspace, rather. It's do or die for Vitality in this game, so let's see if they can stay alive.
And on to Summoner's Rift, we jump. Vitality versus Fnatic. Fnatic currently 2-1 up. A win here would take them into a matchup versus Misfits. Vitality will drop out of playoffs once again. I say once again, it's been a while since they even made it. Looking all the way back to 2018 or so for their last real time that Vitality were a name amongst the best in Europe.
Certainly true. Nisqy back then on Splice, funnily enough, was one of the big competitors against that Vitality roster as well. Yeah, some of these players have been around for a while, whereas some of these players are fresh faces.
Yeah.
A lot of young players, of course, joining the scene. Labrov, yeah, he's been around a little while, but still relatively new.
And still only 19 years old, right, Labrov? So.
Yeah. Szygenda joining us last split. Leader, of course, has been with Misfits in the past, but a very young roster. You compare that to Fnatic. Seasoned veterans across the board, except, of course, for Adam up in the top lane. Young player coming out from K-Corp. Really has, I would say, what I would define as a rookie split. High highs, low lows.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of positives, a lot of negatives, but a lot of room to grow, and like a promising prospective talent that we have here in Europe. And excited to see where he develops, but his journey is not quite over yet, considering he is 2-1 up against Vitality. Fnatic looking good. The analyst desk seems to feel confident, and I would agree with them. I think that when I look at Fnatic's comp, they have strong team fighting, and the longer the game goes, they should be able to match inside Mundo. I think I was talking to Odo about it, and he was telling me, like, yeah, so Mundo can just kill Jayce later on, like 2 items or something. Like,
okay.
Jayce just can't run away. His only disengage tool is his E, and then Mundo ignores it. So at a certain point in the side lane, I think that Fnatic are just going to have an advantage, and I think the team fighting is going to be really strong. So, yeah, I think that Vitality kind of need to get the ball rolling relatively quickly, and we'll see if Selfmade can get something happening in the early game. We noticed that they have the push in bot. Looks like Leader's going to have the push in mid, and they're also going to have the push in the top lane in this early stage. So I think going against what you would typically expect, but you imagine that Upset and Hylissang going to get the bounce back in just a second, and then Bwipo should be able to secure himself that bot scuttle crab.
And with Selfmade pathing from bot to top, he'll be looking for the top Scuttle Crab himself. Only source of magic damage on this Vitality lineup. So Selfmade falls behind. Fnatic have pretty easy itemization choices in terms of just stacking up that armor to make sure they do not take too much hurt on these Vitality players. Nisqy just trying to dodge in here. Leader taking an extra tower shot. Will not be good for him, obviously, in this trade. He's going to try and kill the meat to heal that back up. You can see now on the wrong side of this health advantage.
You have to be careful in these early skirmishes.
Not to take a tower shot, yeah.
Yeah, but in particular, you have to, he's deceptively strong at level 4 when you have 2 points in, is it Kingslayer? I call it W.
Yeah, Kingslayer.
It's a heal. It's a surprising heal. And I'm sure, of course, Leader's very familiar with that. He's a very avid Sylas player himself, but showcasing that respect, also has a fair amount of sustain himself thanks to his Q. But for now, it looks like Bwipo is just hovering around the bot side of the map, offering that cover, getting a bit of information, given that this Gromp is likely to be respawned soon. Let's see if Hylissang goes for a binding there underneath the tower. Not going to risk it for now. That binding in this matchup is actually quite important, isn't it? Because if you ever miss it, Rakan's like, oh, guess I'll just kind of do whatever I want then.
Yeah, alongside that, the Black Shield, of course, can stop the Rakan from doing too much. So, like, if you position well, if you space well with your AD carry, respect social distancing, all of those guidelines, it can be a lot easier for you to survive in that matchup. But yeah, the binding can be pretty annoying when you're playing against a Morgana, as Leader's going to get traded on here with this Predator stun coming out, trying to trade it back, Slice and Dice gets his way away from Nisqy, and now we're back and can just burn that teleport to get back. But Bwipo is on the Jayce and looking for a little bit of crocodilian action here, as Leader's going to have to stop his base. Can just walk back to the tower, but that is a bit of time delayed there for Leader.
Well, the pings are coming through. Selfmade will spot out Bwipo early on. Diana usually struggles in the straight-up 1v1. Oh, B sidesteps the Q. That's a big deal. Nisqy on his way, though.
Leader still hasn't recalled, and now Selfmade, you just got to flash this wall. Does it preemptively, knows that Nisqy and Bwipo will be able to chase him down. Leader wanted to catch the wave underneath the tower, and Fnatic used the fact that they had a pushing wave in to make Leader in two minds about whether he could take the fight in the jungle or needed to catch that XP and gold on the midway.
Well, it all starts with Nisqy having a good base into TP back into lane into a good trade. This then gives Bwipo the opportunity to move in, knowing that he has prio on bot lane and in mid lane, and then after finding a successful trade and delaying Leader's ability to go base, that means he can't spend his money, then TP back into lane, which of them of course then puts Selfmade in a situation where he doesn't have assistance.
Doesn't have the passive, doesn't have a way to get away from that stun, trying to build it back up. Gonna try and defib some of those minions, but that's all he's gonna get out of it. First blood to Selfmade.
Well played there from Vitality. They're very quick to bounce back after Selfmade loses his flash on the bot side of his own jungle. They're able to set up a nice dive towards the top side, and I like this from Vitality, investing more resources in towards the Jayce. I think it's really important that you get your solo laners ahead, and now look at this again. Leader roaming from mid lane up towards top. They want to threaten this dive before Adam gets 6, but they're going to decide against it, it seems.
And you could see coming through the draft the priority that Vitality put on trying to shut down Adam. He has been a key point of weakness throughout a couple of the games earlier, getting caught out a couple of times in game 1, game 2, to that early gank from Selfmade. And here, Selfmade once again gets him for the first kill of the game. And Vitality prioritizing that Jayce matchup, that counter matchup in the top lane for Szygenda, making Leader take the Renekton into mid lane for what I believe is the first time this summer.
Yeah, Adam has died a lot.
Yeah, he has. It's the most of any top laner, 39 ISO deaths.
Following in Bwipo's footsteps. As we mentioned earlier, Adam is the type of player that I think is very much a rookie, clearly has a lot of potential, mechanically, clearly very talented. But yeah, every now and then does make mistakes. And I think we've seen a couple of those mistakes in this series, but overall, I still think he's having a positive impact.
Oh, Szygenda going forward. Bwipo's landing the Sonic Wave flash away though. Bwipo's going to chase him under the tower, and Selfmade is here in time. Selfmade takes the kill, 2-0 on the board.
Really good response there from Vitality once again. That was such a good flash from Szygenda. There's a small window where you can flash so that Lee Sin Q doesn't follow you, and it's just as it connects. You can't flash the damage, you can flash the gap. And Szygenda does that extremely well.
I think Bwipo may have followed him, and it was just a spec thing, because then Bwipo flashed out from underneath the tower.
I think he got ulted underneath.
Oh, quite possibly, yes.
By the Diana.
Okay.
So that was how I read the situation. If we get a replay, we can have a look much closer. But again, Vitality find themselves with a kill advantage. Those kills are going on to Selfmade as well, and that is definitely a good person to be getting those kills on because you're shutting Bwipo down. And a lot of this series has been decided on the impact that both junglers have had. Selfmade got it in game 1, Bwipo got the better of Selfmade in 2 and 3, and now it seems that Selfmade is off to a great start here in game 4.
It's quite fun that 4 months ago, if both these guys had been popping off, Fnatic probably would have placed better than they did in the spring season. Of course, both playing jungle now. Question is, will Fnatic be able to do better than they did in spring without Selfmade, with Bwipo role swapping in and with Adam coming into the top lane? Or will Vitality A revitalized roster coming into summer with the addition of Leader, with Crownshot, Selfmade, and SOT to start off with. Now Szygenda be able to be the villains of this piece for any Fnatic faithful that remain.
Right now, things are looking very good in the early game for Vitality, and the early game has decided a lot. But saying that, Vitality had a great early game in Game 3. Fnatic were able to find their way back.
Although they did have a great early game, the gold was always like 1,800 difference between the two of them, and then Fnatic switched it around. Here, it's about 1,300, building up bit by bit. Adam once again caught out, spell immune there from the Moonfall, but the chase is on. Leader pops the Dominus, slices in, flashes forward, and Selfmade now on a killing spree. 3-0 on this Diana, and not much Fnatic can do about it.
And I think just punishing Adam is an effective strategy. We have seen him as a bit of a point of weakness in this series, someone that you can attack and actually get early advantages against. Getting this Jayce ahead and getting the Diana ahead is very valuable for Vitality, and it's smart for Fnatic to play this cross map, to invest plates in towards the bot side of the map. But Vitality, I think they've taken the right approach in this Game 4 to find the best way to take down Fnatic.
Selfmade has no ult here. Crescent Strike will hit. Bwipo steals away the Rift Herald, kicks away Selfmade. Like, thank you very much, I'm having that, mate. And
Swag.
Walks out.
That was just some swag right there from Bwipo.
Do we still use swag these
I mean,
days?
he should, because that was swag.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was clean. I like that a lot. Doesn't have flash, Q's to the back of the eye, punches that Herald in the eye, smite immediately, 900 damage. Very well done. Very, very well done. And this is a big deal, because as you can see in the top lane, 3 plates were alive for Adam, which meant that had Vitality gotten that Herald, you would have funneled all that money into the Jayce, he would have lost his tower, and then he's obviously a very sad Mundo in the side lane. Now, Fnatic can bring in bot lane, and they can use it to take that tower, and they can funnel money into upset, and Vitality can't keep the early game snowball going that they had already set themselves up for. So that steal, while swaggy, also very impactful.
Wait, there's a ward behind Vitality, and I'm wondering if it caught Selfmade, because there was a ping just behind them. There's a ward in the lane. I think Selfmade may have been able to sneak around it. Moonlight Vigil going wide there. Selfmade now starting towards this dragon. Leader worked his way across as well, but I was wondering perhaps if Fnatic had 5D chessed it with that deep ward, but Selfmade just walked through his jungle, didn't get spotted out. Dragon started, now stopped for players from both teams on this bottom side of the map, but for the moment won't be able to find too much. Szygenda here, Adam's going in, looking for that maximum dosage, trying to give Szygenda a taste of his own medicine. Szygenda tries to turn it around, but as you said, Betty, the Mundo can just walk you down. Thumbs up from Adam. He misses the briefcase, but he still gets his meeting. Adam with the solo bolo.
Yeah, so that's really bad for Szygenda, because this shouldn't be happening yet. And Szygenda, I need to have a look back at exactly how that happened, but he literally just gets run down. He doesn't have the flash available to him. And the fact that Adam can still be relevant even after so much pressure is put down on him, he's likely going to lose his life here, but the damage has been done. He knows that he's going to be really strong in that 1v1, going for the Anathemas chains. Anathemas. God damn it. Yeah. That was a really big play for Adam, and I think that what we're seeing is Fnatic stealing away the Herald, being able to get themselves this Drake, being able to get that kill in the top sides. Even though Fnatic find themselves at a gold disadvantage, it feels like that they're just finding advantage across the board.
Yeah, right now 1,300 gold behind, but they get the first tower in the bottom lane, they get a kill in the mid lane, they still have the Rift Tower to put down, and watch that gold swing on a sixpence. Rift Tower gets put down in the mid lane, tower down in the bottom lane, and now Fnatic within 200 gold. They will lose this tower in the top side. Selfmade going to be given some of those plates across to himself. But now with that Rift Tower charging in, you can see only 200 gold between these two teams, or thereabouts, about 500 now, as this tower will go down. And it was 1,500 the difference, Vedi. And as we round out, as we add up all our checks and balances, it is a Fnatic advantage of 100 gold.
Yep. So Fnatic, they're in a really good position right now. Have to note, 2 dragons have actually died this game. It is a bit of a visual bug. Ocean and Mountain have actually been secured for Fnatic, so just wanted to clear that one up. Let's have a look back at this 1 versus 1. So, Szygenda's full health, Adam is at half health, and then a briefcase lands, and because he doesn't have flash, he dies. So apparently this matchup swings earlier than I thought it did. Maybe Szygenda should have invested in anti-healing a little bit earlier. Honestly, I don't know enough about the matchup to say, like, perhaps there's just nothing he can do in this position, but Adam literally just landed one briefcase and says, yeah, I can kill you now.
I mean, we've all been in Szygenda's position, you know, it's the weekend, you're chilling, you're chilling, you're chilling, then you get hit with a meeting on a Monday morning. There's nothing you can do to escape.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
For the moment, though, Szygenda's going to be gifted more gold in the form of plates.
Meeting that I have tomorrow.
Get wrecked. Szygenda will be gifted more gold on the bottom side of the map, but Nisqy's off towards the top side, pushing in as well. This cross-map play will mean that Vitality get a little bit more gold out of it, because I think Szygenda's going to be able to get this plate and perhaps one more before the plates fall off at the 14-minute mark. However, in terms of items, the mythics are complete for both AD carries. Crownshot has his Immortal Shield Bow, so does Upset alongside a couple of extra daggers. Nisqy has his Everfrost, Gore Drinker complete on Leader, who does have a bit of that healing reduction perhaps for the fights as we move forward here, Vedius.
Just think that Fnatic have so much more control over the map. They've taken down mid and bot. Of course, the cross map did happen for Vitality, but losing the red buff as well, losing jungle camps. Selfmade is just being denied the ability to 1v9, and you can see how scared everyone on Vitality is playing. Crownshot can't approach the wave because he just doesn't have a tower. They don't even have... I mean, they have some vision littered around Fnatic's entrances, which does make things a little bit safer for Crownshot, but he's so afraid of having his ultimate stolen and engaged on him again. Yeah, it's a really difficult situation for Vitality to be in. Again, yes, they find themselves with a gold lead. I'm curious if we could actually swap over to the gold where that gold advantage is currently sitting, because obviously Selfmade is sitting with a huge amount of gold right now. But you imagine that the Jayce, he didn't actually get the plates. He did get a couple plates bot though. I think it was a pretty big deal for him.
He split plates with Selfmade off towards the top side as well. So I think what we're going to see is Selfmade and Szygenda have the majority of Vitality's gold if we ever get a chance to look at it, and it's more evenly spread on the side of Fnatic. Perhaps Nisqy and Upset being the key beneficiaries. There is still 1,000 gold between these two teams. LeBron has a flank position. Hylissang flashing forward for Crownshot, but Hylissang perhaps overstepping. Moonlight Vision's going to do a lot of work. Bwipo going in as well, but that's the Immortal Shield Bow, and Selfmade's been able to kill off Upset to start off this fight. Hylissang down as well. It was Hylissang who flashed in, and Morgana is just not that sort of engaged support, I'm afraid, my friend.
I think the engage looked promising at first, but the follow-up from Fnatic just wasn't there. I love the way in which Labrov actually played that body blocking for his stunned AD carry to make sure that he's able to get out alive. The Immortal Shield Bow coming in clutch there for Crownshot means that Vitality actually find themselves a winning fight. So even though Fnatic seem to have so much more control over the map overall, Vitality with the gold lead still sitting pretty comfortably.
Nisqy chasing Labrov forever, but Labrov just at the range of Everfrost and of the abscond Abduct. Second Rift Herald started up now for Fnatic. Still 1,000 gold in the hole, but in a relatively okay position. Looking for that third win, of course, which will take them onto a meeting with Misfits next week. Wouldn't guarantee them a world spot. You need to get through Misfits and through G2 to make sure you get a world seed. Top 3 with Rogue and Mad already being locked in means that we only have one spot left, Vedius. Fnatic, Vitality, Misfits, and G2 all fighting for it.
They certainly are. I don't think Vitality want to run in their run yet. Throughout the regular season, it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like that Astralis had pretty much guaranteed that 6th seed, but Vitality in the final weekend came out swinging. They found a way for them to win games. They found a lot of comfort. They were even able to take down Rogue. And look like they're on the upswing. Let's see if they can find a good fight here.
Selfmade going in, has the move, but look at the damage onto Bwipo. Leader now the front line. Selfmade forced back, Rocket Belt, not going to be enough, but in the end, Bwipo flashes in, Selfmade flashes in and kills off Bwipo. Nisqy next on the menu, and Leader will take it. Another 2 quick kills here to Vitality. Adam's going to chase Labrov out, but Labrov can just do that and get himself out of dodge.
The Vitality mid-jungle ends up coming out on top. Just so well played from Selfmade. His use of the flash, the fact that he knew he could overcommit, just really well played, really well executed. And Fnatic's mid-jungle duo gets shut down. This gives Vitality more time to ramp up, gives them more options as the game progresses. And yeah, I mean, Selfmade been involved in 8 of the 8 kills. He is looking good. So let's have a look back at this. Selfmade uses the E over the wall. Gets engaged on initially, then you look how much damage comes down to Bwipo. Doesn't have any energy, forced to disengage. Leader flashes onto Bwipo knowing he needs to take him out first. Then the flash, Q, auto coming out from Selfmade to help secure that, and then the 2v1, they're able to shut down Nisqy. Hylissang nowhere near to offer any assistance. So very well played by Vitality.
Importantly, while that was happening as well, We see a Cloud Dragon picked up for Vitality. Fnatic are sitting in an ocean and a mountain, so Vitality stopped the soul stack. Of course, Cloud not always the most effective, but can do a lot of work, especially when you're playing against a Mundo or an Aphelios or Morgana, these people that love to use their ultimates quite a few times throughout the course of a battle.
The one thing I think we haven't seen a lot of this game is Ashe arrows.
Yeah. I think we've seen one or two, but none of them really had an impact. Also, we haven't seen a lot of the bot lanes, let's be honest. Like Upset and Crownshot, they farmed in lane for a while. They've both been involved in a kill or 2 kills apiece.
Sure.
But most of the time it's just been farming.
Yes, but I think that's one of the great things about Ashe is you don't actually have to be involved to be involved.
True.
Because her ultimate is a global, and in the mid game, her ultimate I think can really swing a lot of things and be really effective at finding picks, especially on a side lane. So obviously against a Mundo, not that great. I guess the other thing is the Black Shield.
Yeah, Mundo Black Shield makes it pretty difficult.
Maybe Crownshot's just afraid that like he's just wasting it, but yeah, I would just say that like I think that that is something that Vitality haven't fully utilized yet that they could. So we'll keep track of it as the game progresses. Red buff going to be handed over to Crownshot. Bit of vision being set up towards the bot side of the map. I imagine Aphelios is going to go catch that wave. You would imagine that Nisqy is going to be the primary person sitting on a side lane. Kind of surprised that they're moving up towards mid here. So look, notice that Aphelios is going to be spotted on this bot wave. Vitality, they're actually, okay, they're not going to use this as a window for anything. That's fine. There could have been an opportunity here for them to potentially get some deep vision, especially on the top side of the jungle, but it seems that the rest of Vitality actually want to reset. So they're just going to clear out some wards, go back to base, spend some of their money, and they're not going to overcommit or try and get any deeper vision than what they currently have.
And I don't really blame them for that mentality. It's not what Vitality have done for the rest of the season, but this is what could possibly be their last game for the season. So being a little bit more defensive, being a little bit more on the back foot isn't too surprising. However, I hope Vitality remember what has made them victorious in the past. Aggression. Wanton, at times, aggression. The question is, with Lebrov now on a flank position, can they find something? Crownshot does still have his Comet. He can send flying. Haley could have a sister to join her, as that Enchanted Crystal Arrow could come out once again.
So top is being pushed, bot has now been pushed by Leader, he's rotating up towards mid, they're setting up for a fight as they contest over the mid wave.
Such an interesting position as Selfmade goes in. There's the arrow, only hits onto Bwipo. Leader fighting down towards the bottom side. LeBron almost dead before he can get in. The quickness still available for him. Black Shield is down as well, and Vitality will disengage. That Black Shield probably on a 10 to 15 second cooldown if Vitality want to go back in.
Nisqy still has ult, so does Lebrov. Fnatic have control of the mid wave though, but they have all their ultimates available. Vitality tried to force the fight and they couldn't quite pull it off. Many low health members, they're going to want to reset, and they're going to be forced to concede control over this side of the map. Good news for them, there's no real objective that they're going to lose. They're not too concerned about losing Baron right now. They'll lose a couple of their jungle camps, which of course isn't great for Selfmade, but remember, he's 2 levels over Bwipo right now. So, oh no, he might only be 1 level above Bwipo. I'm sure that would be the worst thing in the world for Selfmade. So Vitality, they went for a play. If it worked, it could have been a Baron. It didn't, so they didn't really lose much.
Yeah, pretty happy just to keep prodding, poking, trying to find those opportunities. And Fnatic answered well as well. You could see it was a battle on a couple of different fronts. Nisqy trying to push in, trying to catch out Crownshot. Upset and Hylissang playing down towards the bottom side with Adam as a front line for them. Adam as that bouncer. Vitality, though, will gain control of this top side of the jungle, steal away a blue for themselves. Selfmade wasn't the one to secure it, so he's still only 2 levels ahead of Bwipo in this jungle role. I do wonder if there's a point at which Mundo is too strong in a side lane and we could see Adam just stepping out there. We've already seen him be able to kill off Szygenda in a pure 1v1.
Well, I think the Renekton can match the Mundo.
Yeah.
They won't kill each other in theory, but I think that the Jayce can then match the Sylas. I think
that makes sense.
If you're Vitality, those are the matchups you want because then the kill threat gets reduced. You can just kind of hold them in a side. Right now, though, it's just kind of like a fist fight in mid. Vitality are doing much better control over their side.
TP deeper behind. Selfmade pops the move, pops the stopwatch. Crownshot's the first target. LeBron going in with the quickness, though. And Hylissang with Soul Shackles will get the stun off, even though he dies afterwards. Crownshot's still alive, though, and Leader on the longest flank in the history of the world. You're going to arrive, but it's a morgue for the rest of your team, Leader. You were too late. You let them die. As Fnatic pick up 2 kills and force Vitality away. Adam flashing forward. Okay, that was a bit over eager there, Adam. Vitality are still going to walk away.
Well, this is going to be Fnatic's 3rd Drake of the game. They do have an ocean, they do have a mountain, and now they will secure themselves a Cloud. But what a great engage once again from Bwipo. He finds the target onto Crownshot. He's able to get a really nice kick in and forces immediate both summoners out from Crownshot, making the follow-up very easy from the rest of Fnatic. So keep your eyes on Bwipo here. Q's onto Selfmade. Selfmade throws out the ultimate and stopwatch, which then sets up for the play onto Crownshot. So well done by him. Morgana just about gets the ult off, which then makes it easy to get the follow-up on the Crownshot. And you can see how the TP comes in the mid lane. He's only got that one ward to TP to. I mean, actually, he could have TP'd right there.
He TP'd all the way to blue buff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Before,
this ward all the way back here. But there was this ward also by the entrance to Raptors. That was an option, and that was the direction that Vitality was running towards, and so he ended up not being involved in the fight. So Fnatic find a really good engage. Bwipo with a really good play. And now Fnatic, they're going to start at the back.
So Szygenda has the TP. He was in the bottom lane pushing that in. Selfmade, no flash on him, but does have the Moonfall. Lebrov's going to step forward, but the Dark Binding will catch him out. 8,000 HP on the Baron. Selfmade jumping onto Adam. Vitality, do they even know? So Crownshot should have Hawkshot. There's the arrow. Hilly takes the Black Shield. Hilly ulted, as you said, no Soul Shackles available. Selfmade now looking for the steal, has the Blast Cone as well. Lebrov stepping in, Fnatic backing away. There's the quickness, they kick leader back into the team, but Bwipo's dead. Here goes Selfmade onto the backline. Nisqy pops the stopwatch to his Hylissang, but Adam is already dead. Crownshot opening up with the big guns. The Rangers focus, doing so much work. Upset with the Moonlight Vigil, just cannot survive. A vigil for Fnatic, a eulogy perhaps, as Vitality clean them up.
Fantastic fight for Vitality, and such a big knockup from Lebrov at the end of that fight to get the two-man knockup to allow Vitality to then follow through and secure those kills. They're able to get a big front-to-back fight. They're going to get themselves the Baron. Vitality showcasing they are not out of this series just yet.
A 5,000, 6,000 gold lead now for Vitality. And all of this comes off the back of Fnatic deciding to do this bounce.
So Hylissang uses his ultimate very early on, ends up getting traded for Crownshot's ultimate. The binding misses as well. So without that ability, that means that Vitality can now just close the gap. Here comes the kick from Bwipo. Makes the kick onto the Renekton, which ends up just closing the gap. He actually chooses to disengage as they focus the front line. Then Selfmade goes in, forces the double Zhonyas, which means that no damage is coming out. Then watch this from Lebrov. Double knockup as he loses his life, gives Szygenda the opportunity to close the gap, get on top of him. Leader flashes in as well. And they're able to come out on top. So just a lot of things went wrong there for Fnatic, and a lot of things went very right for Vitality.
They need to find at least one more play like that if they're going to take us all the way to Game 5. Would be our second of playoffs so far. Of course, Rogue Misfits went all the way on Friday of this week.
But huge props seems to be given to Selfmade this series. Like, in the wins for Vitality, it really is him that is having the most impact on this Diana. He's just doing so much work for his team, finding early game jungle advantages. And like, yeah, he's also been part of the reason why they've lost their games, but he is the linchpin that will determine whether Vitality will progress forward in the lower bracket or whether their run will end today. Fnatic, Vitality, Fnatic find themselves in the deficit, potentially find themselves with one game left to play.
They are still just trying to stand back here. We all know that if Aphelios can have a little bit of time in a team fight, he can do a lot of work. Adam's going to get spell immune there. Mundo is immune, pops the ultimate, as you say. Maximum dosage will heal him back up. Tier 2 in the mid lane has fallen, and Fnatic will just defend for the moment. Once again, the Soul Shackles from Hylissang into the Black Shield. I feel it's a bit greedy. Selfmade going in, and he's a bit greedy too. The quickness was stolen away. Selfmade's going to pop the stopwatch, but this is a very poor position for the Vitality jungler. He manages to escape. Moonlight Vigil goes wide. Lebrov standing on the front line, turns the quickness right back around on Fnatic's faces. Lebrov tries to dive onto the back line and manages to get the Black Shield out. 2 quick kills to Vitality, and now it's Hylissang upset and Bwipo trying to defend. Dragon's Rage kick available for the Lee Sin. Upset, not much in his toolkit. Calibrum Crescendo, green and white guns. Okay for close range. The question is, can he defend against these 5 members of Vitality? For the moment, they will continue to push in. Bwipo kicks back Lebrov, that's 1. Selfmade tanks up a tower shot. Looking for 2, dives back in. Now Upset trying to defend against Leader, who pops a Ruthless Predator, but Vitality can just focus down the Nexus. We're going all the way. It's Silver Scrapes, baby, 2-2.
Vitality off the back of a single fight into the Baron. They immediately convert it into a game win. So much credit needs to be given to Selfmade. Lebrov with honestly some really great plays on his Rakan in many of those team fights as well. One of the big criticisms was the mid jungle sorry, the jungle support gap that we were seeing in games 2 and game 3, well, the jungle supports really did step up here in game 4, and they're going to be taking us to a game 5.
Well, that was kind of unexpected, I'm going to be honest. A lot of expectations.
Told you, expectations, window, right through them.
Defenestrate our expectations, apparently, as Fnatic and Vitality now going all the way to game 5. I think, really, the question is, will we see more adaptation in the draft? Because Xayah wasn't picked or banned in this after she was such high priority in game 1 and game 2. Will Renekton mid lane still be a thing? Will Rakan be the priority pick for Vitality still? We saw them picking that one up so early.
The only thing I can say for sure is that Vitality want red side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they get a choice.
No, Fnatic will get the choice.
Well, I mean, obviously, my point is that, like, the side that they want, they might not get.
Fnatic and Vitality are fighting for their lives, and at the end of the day, everything comes down to game 5. We'll be back for a preview and Silver Scrapes right after this. Yeah.
The planet and us are connected. We share its veins. We can continue to clog them, or do something about it. By using millions of recycled plastic bottles in our new generation of durable washer and washer-dryer tubs, we reduce plastic waste from leaking into nature's veins. Discover Beko's eco-tub washers and washer-dryers for healthy living on a healthy planet.
Welcome back to the LEC studio production petition to, yes.
Keep it going. The silver
They
strips.
read my mind. Amazing. Really wish there was fans here right now, but we will do. We are just as excited, and we are witnessing a very dramatic series between Fnatic and Vitality, who are fighting to stay alive in the summer playoffs and the 2021 season, where everything is now on the line for Game 5. The winner will face Misfits next Friday, will be alive for the championship and Worlds. The loser is out. Finito. End of the season. Treats, it's been a treat.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a treat, no sarcasm. I mean, the series is living up to the hype, and it's going all the way, and I think both teams are probably a bit stressed, a bit more than normal, but I think that's usual.
Oh, it's an absolute fist fight, isn't it? It's down to the wire. It's a best of one. All cards on the table, everything to play for.
Oh, so exciting. Let's start at, where it's usually most important, which is the draft. And we've seen an evolution, and we saw then in the last game, again, I think a stark difference to a lot of choices we saw before, with especially the flex and the showing of the Renekton mid for leader.
The flex, that's the key word here, because when you think of the game where they picked Lulu on blue side and they tried to flex it, and then put it in bot lane eventually, they were forced to show their hand before they wanted to. With this Renekton, slightly different. We saw leader on Renekton mid. I think that's his first game on Renekton mid, perhaps I've ever seen him play, honestly. So the flex paid its dividends, leaving it to last pick, countering it into Sylas, and then putting Jayce top. The top side was phenomenal for Vitality.
It definitely was. And then that bot side, we called up the Morgana in the last weeks of the split for Fnatic, and you called out you always want to see him on an engaged support. Why exactly is Morgana not working out stylistically for Hylissang, but also in this game?
I mean, I think Hylissang and Upset are better in lane no matter what they play, so I'm not sure why they feel the need to play the Morgana to win lane, even though they have already won with engaged support. So I think it just doesn't fit him personally, and also it just doesn't fit the team, so it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And even though they did win their lane, they got bot tower, they managed to push out bot, get the tower, Aphelios out of lane, but even then, by the time Upset was out of lane, Szygenda was already way too fed, taking their bot tower. Selfmade was out of control, and leader was already really strong on the Renekton, so you've got this Aphelios with a black shield against 3 members of Vitality diving on him, and in the end, he couldn't deal with it.
And those 2 men here behind me, Szygenda and Selfmade. Wow, what a topside it has been for Vitality so far. And I think we're going to talk obviously a lot about Selfmade, but I do want to throw some praise the way of Szygenda, who was put in a very difficult position where he was out of the team and then back in the team. And now he is really performing when it counts most.
This series especially, I think that during the regular season, there was a lot of question marks. He was finding his form. The Renekton in the last week was actually really good. So there was signs of hope, signs of life in the top side for Vitality, who seemed to just be mid-jungle only. Selfmade gank mid, leader in Selfmade show. Szygenda's been showing up. The Renekton especially comes to mind in game 1, where he's getting triple kills in team fights. Selfmade's playing top. Although he's playing top and helping Szygenda get ahead, Selfmade's taking all the kills for himself, and he's the one who's doing all the work in terms of the actual carrying, but Szygenda being strong is just such a good point. This dive early was the starting point of something brilliant for them.
We have to remember, Adam, of course, is in his first best of 5 in the playoffs with Fnatic, is not able to play with the team. What have you found about his performance so far, Treats?
I think overall he hasn't been too bad. I think both him and Szygenda have had their moments, but I would say that Szygenda's had the edge in this series in terms of pressure. I think he's helped his team a lot this series, and Adam hasn't really found that insane early game impact that he has in the other games.
Yeah, he got a solo kill onto Szygenda, Mundo into Jayce. We saw him run it down. Vedius said, you can't knock him away because his passive stops it, and that's Jayce's only CC. But barring that, Selfmade just, milked him for kills. Yeah. And then when it came to the team fight, Selfmade was just doing way too much damage, it felt like. So yeah, second game of Diana for Selfmade. I'm going to be saying Selfmade a lot because in their wins, he is unreal. You can see it behind us, 17.5 KD, 92% KP. This man is everywhere, and it's Diana both games, and it's just unreal to watch. Fnatic must be sweating a bit where it's like, oh wait, that was our jungler.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean, live by the sword, die by the sword. But the difference between what Selfmade is bringing in these wins, Treats, is insane. Can you kind of try and explain to us what it exactly is? How does the pressure that Selfmade build on you as an enemy, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me at least, he was the top 2 hardest jungler to play against. Was inspired in him, so I think it shows this series that when he has good games, it's almost unplayable for the enemies. He just finds kills everywhere somehow and always is at the right place. And I think he's showing up, and maybe they have to ban the Diana so he doesn't carry another game. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
the crazy thing to me is it feels like Bwipo's having a good series too. Even that Lee Sin performance in that game was not bad. It was pretty decent, I think, and he's been having a good series. Just, I feel like Selfmade is just standing out so much in Vitality in their win specifically and how they're winning the game that it just outshines it in a sense. But Bwipo, no doubt in my mind that he's playing great as well. So both junglers really going toe-to-toe. It's what you like to see.
No, yeah, and you like to think then about a game 5. Let's first take a look at the final fight, maybe out of game 4. Fnatic tried to turn it around, go all in around the Baron, but it wasn't enough, and it was set up perfectly actually for Selfmade Selfmade to come in on his Diana as well. But a team effort, Labrov, I think, treats as someone who doesn't get mentioned often, but who has quietly been working himself up as a very great support for Vitality.
Yeah, I think in most of the fights this game, he had really solid impacts and really solid clutch defenses as well. He got the knock-up at the end of this fight, which actually won them the fight, so I think that was a really clutch play by him. And yeah, he's playing an engaged support, Hylissang is not, so I guess it's just that diff.
Yeah, and the big thing about this fight was Hylissang had to use Black Shield at the start of the fight to stop the Ashe Shower from hitting him. So he had to use it on himself. Quite a long cooldown, especially when you get later on in the fight instantly begins. So Upset didn't have a Black Shield to knock up, just like you said. Gets found, fast flash away, gets chased down and dies. And then, yeah, lights out. Just like we were talking about the top side of Vitality. Look at the damage Szygenda's doing. Almost 24,000 damage, most damage in the game. Poke Jayce when it's ahead and out of lane. It's so hard to deal with. You think of Jayce as this side laner. But yes, once he's ahead and he pushes out his side lane and comes to mid and he hits you with that shock blast once or twice,
that hurts.
You already have to base, right? It's really hard to already even set up, especially when Hylissang's on Morgana and you can't just get in there.
It's also not an easy champion. We see Jayce's often fall flat, you know, and he played it out well. Hylissang, of course, he was playing Morgana like he was playing an Alistar, which is, I think, the center of the problem. So let's now talk about Game 5 then. So much information to work with, right? And you would say, I think naturally, Selfmade is the guy in the wins that gets propped up, and it's not like he's giving the kills to anyone else. He takes them all himself. Do you then go all in on trying to shut him down, or is that also not a good strategy for Fnatic?
I think it's hard to shut down a jungler completely in this meta. There's just so many catch-up mechanics and so many like influential fights that you pick up XP from. So I think that's not really what Fnatic is gonna go for. I think they just have to go for something where their mid jungle is a bit safer. I think so. Selfmade can't really get the snowball kills going, and yeah, I think just play from there.
Yeah, maybe play to defend top a little bit more. I worry for Fnatic, because if you ban Diana, for example, I feel like Selfmade might just go for an Evelynn or something crazy like this. You know, he might just pick Lee Sin himself and have leader on Sylas or Akali. So they still have a lot of options, and just the pick ban is not somewhere where you can really shut down. It's about picking things yourself rather than shutting them down to neutralize it, deal with it, and then make sure the game gets to a stable point where bot lane, which I think Fnatic's having the most impact from, can actually have the carry potential.
If you now look at both teams, you say it's about picking for yourself and picking your comfort, I think, especially in a Game 5 when the nerves are so strained coming into this game.
Yeah, and I think the nerves are different for both sides. You know, Fnatic on one end, if they lose this now best of one, this is probably one of the worst place finishings for a year long of Fnatic in God knows how long, right? You don't make worlds, you know, you finish 5th, 4th, all these kind of times throughout the entire year. Whereas Vitality, flash in the pan roster, just send it and see what happens, you know. We have no expectations on this roster. Just put in Selfmade, put in leader, see how high it can go. And now it's this close to taking down Fnatic.
Yeah, Dylan put it beautifully yesterday. For organizations like G2 and Fnatic, getting to Worlds is the bare minimum. For Vitality, getting back there. And I think just the implication of Selfmade being the one to carry them there, that's going to sting. And it's going to be so euphoric for the side of Vitality. But we're not there yet. What are your predictions for the final game? We've had a 3-2 here, I believe, that you predicted for the side of Fnatic. A 3-1, did you?
3-1 also,
Oh, it was both. And so was Discord, actually. So everyone lost.
Everyone's wrong again.
Treats, what is your prediction for the next game? Who wins it and why?
I think Fnatic will win it because I think they will not do as stupid of a draft as they did this time, and I think they realize that Selfmade is a huge threat. So yeah, I think they'll take it.
Vitality have one game to shut down Fnatic and all of Fnatic's fans. One best of one, Selfmade could carry it on his shoulders, but I still think Fnatic is going to win. I think that they should know by now what's working and what isn't. And I feel like they can pinch Vitality and pick things to neutralize it, and they should come out on top.
Oof, put some respect on the Bees. Let's see what happens. Vitality and Fnatic made bold choices going into the summer season, and one of these teams, for the dreams of glory, the LEC title and Worlds, can die tonight. Everything comes down to Game 5, so be sure to stay tuned.
Silver scrapes.
Woo!